Morgan, is everything? Just let me know. We have people here. We have Zara from Luton, UK, right near London. Beautiful. Glasgow. Um, David is from Glasgow, arrived in London. Daniel in Northern Ireland. Katerina from Athens, beautiful, amazing. So I'm Greek, that's why I'm so excited. Hey, living in London from Dubai, amazing. Dubai is always on the top of my bucket list. I haven't had the chance to visit it yet. Nottingham, here originally from Poland. Germany, hi everyone, I'm from London. Here we have Aneta from London, Mikey from Germany, Hattie living in Columbus, Ohio in the US. Wow, how wonderful. We have Joycel from Manila, Philippines. Philippines is one of my most favorite destinations. Urvashi from Mumbai, India. I'm Chris and I live near London. Beautiful. Johnny from the UK. Hey, I'm Fida from Indonesia. Ellie in the UK. Danny from Devon. Hari from India. I'm Chetna from Fiji. Guys, it's incredible how we are all connected in the same virtual room from all different places in the world. It's quite fascinating, to be honest. So as we keep letting people, joining the room, I am going, and as we kind of briefly introduce ourselves, as just letting us know where do we live, I want to take some time to just say that the today topic, employee burnout, is one of my most favorite topics, and this is why I'm so excited to be here today. So, as more people are joining, I want to say welcome, 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 everybody. Thank you so much for joining today. Our topic for today, as most of you know, is workplace burnout. We're going to discuss about top causes, signs, and also the best practices that you can actually implement in your business from day one. Um, since last month, I ran a similar HR workshop and webinar. What I've realized is that employee burnout is a really, really hot topic, right? And if you think about it, it is a topic that is interconnected with great resignation, with digital addiction, employee well-being, and employee experience. So it is a really important topic, and I'm really glad that it seems like more and more businesses seem to realize that this is a really hot topic, and they really try to work towards this direction of helping their employees to prevent and manage the syndrome. So, can you just give me a thumbs up on the comment section if you can hear me and see me okay? That would be great. I said earlier that would be nice, everyone, to be on mute. But don't worry, we're going to have a really interactive session today where we're going, thank you so much, guys, where we're going to share our own thoughts, ideas, and best practices. So it's a really interactive kind of webinar. So the today webinar is based on the feedback we received from employees on our HR dedicated employee well-being platform, Oxyzn, which is a platform that gives us amazing insights into employee engagement, experience, and behavior. So I can tell you a little bit more about this platform later on, and to give you an idea about how you can actually find out more and get access to those insights. So now I think I'm ready to give a very short, brief introduction about who I am, just in case you might be curious. So if you're new to my world, my name is Alexandra Kafka. I'm a mindfulness coach. I'm a yoga teacher. I'm the founder of Urban Yoga Lab and Oxyzn, which are actually an occupational health provider based here in the UK. So just about Oxyzn, you might have heard us before. we consider ourselves as the one-stop employee well-being platform. And based on this platform, we actually offer services that have been designed to empower hybrid employees and to get access to the right tools they need to thrive at work while they radically upgrade their well-being. My purpose and my life's work is to help employees to bring their best selves to work, but also to help businesses to learn how to become an employer of choice. For the last couple of years, I have traveled to more than 40 countries around the world. And my purpose was to discover what it takes to hack kind of high performance via evidence-based well-being tools. Now, over the last several years, we have been entrusted by more than 50 global brands to deliver our services to over 12,000 employees in 6 different markets to give access to our Zen Warrior programs. What makes our program so special is that they have been successfully delivered to big corporations all over the world, such as Royal Bank of Canada, Wells Fargo, and Soho House. So those programs have been tested numerous times, and we're very proud as a team for those programs. So now we decided to take those programs to the next level by productizing our services and offer all those via Oxyzn, our employee well-being platform. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our agenda for today. So let me just share my screen with you. And just for you to know what to expect today, to have an idea about the way I structured the today presentation. So it's going to be, in total, it's going to be a 40-minute presentation. At the end, we're going to have 10-minute questions. So questions at the end, right? So let me know if that works for you all. And what I want to give you is just a little bit of visual here, just to give you an idea of what to expect. In the next few minutes, we're going to focus on burnout. And we're going to focus on burnout at the workplace to explore the 3 top causes, also some best practices in terms of how to prevent and manage the syndrome. In the very beginning, we're going to explore together to tell if your employees have reached the point of burnout. Next, I'm going to share with you the causes. So what I'm going to explain is that there is a series of work stressors, and that if those stressors, they are left unattended, they can inevitably lead to employee burnout. And then I'm going to go deeper into our favorite practices, and I'm going to share with you my findings, along with some actionable tips you can implement from day one, so that you can start to experience greater levels of productivity, performance, and well-being within your business. So in terms of...
Just to let you know that we cannot see your screen.
Oh, that's good. You just mentioned that. Give me 1 second, please. What about now? Can you see my screen now, Morgan?
Still not.
Okay. Share. Okay. Let me stop for a second. Let me share again. One of those technical things. What about now?
No, it just say that Urban Yoga Lab started the screen sharing.
But you cannot see my screen.
No, we cannot see anything.
Do you want to share your screen now, Morgan, at your end?
Yes, sure. I give you the contour then.
Okay, thank you. So in terms of the agenda for today, those are all the things we're going to explore. As I normally promise, in my webinars, is that for those of you who will stay till the end of our today webinar, we are going to share with my team our diversity and inclusion calendar, which is a calendar that we share with long-term clients. So that will be my gift for you for today. And now we are ready to get started with the very first uh, kind of questions, just a series of questions for today, 5 questions, just to get a little bit of context and just to, I'm really keen to find out what most of you think. So the very first kind of part of the presentation is about a poll. So I'm going to ask you to just, take a picture with your phone on our QR code that we have on the presentation, and just let us know about 5 different questions. So Morgan, if you can keep moving the presentation a little bit forwards. Okay, so yes, in the QR code where we can take a picture and just share, those 5 questions. I keep letting people in the room. Beautiful. So all you need to do is just to take a picture of this QR code, and then on your phone, you just very quickly, you fill in those questions. And it is kind of very user friendly, so it doesn't require a lot of steps. All you do is just take a picture and reply on this kind of poll. So the very first question is, how many employees do you have in your business? For example, in Oxyzn and Urban Yoga Lab, we have between 0 to 150, right? So we are a kind of a startup, small, medium-sized business. So if you can let us know, just to get an understanding of which are the businesses here, how many businesses do we have, which are kind of startups, SMEs, or a little bit kind of bigger businesses, that would be great. And I'm going to give you some time to everyone to just vote. And I just personally, don't know about you, but I personally really, oh, hi, thanks for joining. For those of you who just joined, we are talking about employee burnout or workplace burnout. And I'm sharing with you today some of our best practices. So I keep letting people joining, and take your time to vote. How many employees do you have in your business? And Morgan, if you can go one step back to show again the QR, just for the people who didn't have enough time to take a picture of that QR code. And yeah, so all you need to do is just take a picture of this QR code, and then you can vote on this kind of live virtual poll, so we can see how many of us, we work in a startup, an SME, or in a bigger kind of organization. Just go to the website at the top of the poll. Oh, thank you. Accidental capsules. Oh, thank you so much, Christine. That was so helpful. Yes, you're right. They can actually go also on the link on the top. Thank you so much, guys. Yes. And Morgan, maybe one more time to just show the QR code for those who didn't have the chance to take a glimpse of it. Beautiful. I keep letting people in. Amazing. Great stuff. So yeah, most of us, same like in our Urban Yoga Lab and Oxyzn family, seems like, yeah, most of us, we are in kind of a small businesses. Amazing. And you can kind of keep voting as we move to the next question, which is my favorite question, because sometimes when I ask this question to my clients, sometimes I see them being a little bit kind of, hesitating to reply to this question. So are you currently running any well-being programs about employee burnout? And let me tell you that if not, you are not the only one. There is a recent research which shows that, and I share the resource later on the presentation, which shows that 37% of employees said that their employers do nothing to help, to support them when it comes to employee burnout. So if you do not organize any programs, if you do not initiate any kind of solutions, if you do not give any support to your employees, trust me, you are not the only one. It's nothing unusual, okay? Yeah, and as I expected in this poll, yeah, there is a great percentage that, you know, we see in our businesses that there is not the support, there is not a program or a solution in place when it comes to employee burnout. And now if we move to the next question, if you would like to organize a burnout prevention well-being program, what would be the first thing you would typically want to achieve? So let's assume that you decide to implement or activate a program tomorrow and your organization about employee burnout. What is the first thing that you would like to achieve? Is it employee retention, greater productivity, greater employee experience, becoming an employer of choice, or team bonding? Beautiful. Amazing. Great employer experience. Yeah, this seems to be the most popular so far. Interesting. And productivity and becoming an employer of choice come last. Yes, greater employee experience is the number one. And to be honest, I resonate with this answer myself as well. I see that as the top priority. And then about the next question, what's the greatest challenge when it comes to workplace burnout in your business? Is it employee turnover, sick leave, hiring and training replacement costs, or the company culture? Let's see, company culture, interesting. I wouldn't expect this to be the number one, but it does make sense why it seems to be the most popular so far. Amazing. I'm gonna give you some more time. Beautiful. Amazing. Yes, it seems like company culture is the number one. And it's really interesting to see that this is the top priority for many of us. And then the last question is, from 1 to 5, how high it's on your priorities to prevent employee burnout? Wow, it's 4. Interesting. The number 1 representing top. From 1 to 5, how high it's on your priorities? I would say 4 or 5, it's the one that represents top, and 1 as the bottom. Sorry, it is not that clear. I totally get that. So the top is like 5, and then it's 4, and that's how we, yeah, thank you, Katerina. Beautiful. So a Deloitte report showed that for every $1 spent on well-being intervention, $5 was returned. Danny, I totally agree, and I'm well aware of this research and this report. And Daniel said, I think a lot of employers want to appear to be on top of this, but at the heart of it, they are not. And I'm going to talk about this, Daniel, later on. Danny said, I think culture is being used as a catch-all here. Culture is the output. Yes. Katerina, is the number? Yes. Danny said, I agree, Daniel. It also feels to be a fashionable focus in HR discussion at the moment, rather than a purposeful discussions. This is I cannot agree with you more, Danny. And I've seen that over and over again. I've seen HRs having this topic of conversation as a checkbox that they tick, and that's all. As long as they discuss about it, that's enough. But in most of the cases, it does not. And there are things that need to be done, and there are actions that need to be taken. And we don't see that. We do not see real action. And there are various reasons why is this happening. So now we're going to move to the next slide, Morgan. And the research shows that there are some very good reasons, as Daniel, I think, mentioned before, why employee burnout should be one of our key priorities, and they have to do with costs. So in our business, normally, to show to our partners and our clients how important it is to do to organize an employee burnout program, we show them what does it mean to them when it comes to the KPIs and return of investment. So I'm going to share, and normally what we share with them is some alarming stats, our case studies, our self-assessment checklists, and a burnout risk calculator. And now I want to share with you some alarming stats, and I want all of us to challenge ourselves, okay? So we're going to challenge ourselves and to say, what do we feel if each one of those stats is true or false, okay? So Morgan is going to share the QR code, beautiful, and please take a picture of this QR code and let us all vote together. Is this true or false? And let's see if we will guess right. So the QR code again as on the previous slide, so feel free to take a picture of it. And then the very first question and the very first alarming stat that I want you to guess if it is right or wrong is that 75% of employees have experienced burnout in 2022. Do you believe that this is true or false? Is it that big percentage valid? And then again, Morgan, maybe to show the QR code for once more. Make sure that people can access it, and also put the link, the WU Club link on the comment section. Okay, vote doesn't seem to be registering. Okay, just give us a second. Let's try with a link. Let's try with a link and see if it works. Just a few steps, just to notice whether, just to guess, you know, if this is right or wrong. So the link doesn't work, unfortunately. We won't be able to guess. So don't worry, what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the presentation where you can see the initial kind of stuff. Let us see if that works. Oh yeah, it does. Beautiful. Yes. Thank you, Morgan. I know those technical issues can happen for everybody. So 14 of you said that 75% of employees have experienced burnout in 2022. This is true. This is true, guys. And I'm very glad you guessed right. It is an alarming stat in itself, right? And every time I discuss this stat with HRs, with our partners, our clients, they get really surprised. This is a very, very, very alarming stat, right? So if we go to the next stat for a second, it's burnout employees are 63% more likely to take 45% more likely to take a sick day and 2.6 times as likely to be actively seeking a different job. Is it true or false? What do you think? "45% more likely to take a sick day, 2.6 times more likely, to seek another job, right? True. So this is false, guys, because this percentage is not 45%, is 63%, which is quite alarming, to be honest. When I discuss this with most of my clients, they get surprised. They get almost kind of shocked, right? Then the next stat is about women, is about female professionals. And it's interesting because there is a stat which says that women are also more likely to be searching for a new role than they were a year ago, with 2 in 5 of them citing burnout as the reason why they want to leave their current employer. So we have like, true or false? More likely to be searching for a new role than a year ago, with 2 in 5 of them citing burnout as the reason why they want to leave their current employer. And Morgan, if you can show the full question as well on the screen, just for a second. Okay, women are also more likely. Yes, and then the next one. For the new, true or false? Beautiful. So let's see the poll then, and the result is true, which is actually the correct answer. And it's quite significant to notice that female professionals, they end up experiencing burnout way more often than male professionals. I'm going to share with you some stats later on. And that shows how much women struggle with stress and anxiety, with sleep disorders, with digital addiction, among many other challenges. And then the next question is lack of support for workers' mental health cuts firm productivity by 10%. What do you think? Is it 10% the right answer? Or is it too little? Is it too much? And maybe you want to write in the comment section if you think this is false. How much do you think it cuts firms' productivity? Okay, I'm gonna give you some time to 50-50, interesting. So those of you who said that it is false, what do you think is the right percentage? Just out of curiosity here. If you can write in the comment sections, the ones that you said that it is false, right? What do you think is the right percentage? Around 25%, 30%, all right? Higher, yes. What else we have here? What do you think is the right percentage? 100%, wow. Okay, so Somebody here mentioned the right answer, and this is false. So lack of support for workers' mental health cuts firm productivity, right? By so cuts firms' productivity by a quarter, right? By a quarter, not 10%, but a quarter. So this is alarming, right? And this translates into numbers, into specific costs. And this is the conversation we normally have with our clients who might not be aware of what is the impact of employee burnout within their organization. And the last stat is the average cost of turnover per employee is 25,000 pounds a year, or 22,000 pounds per year, according to UNUM. Is that right or not? So is the average cost of turnover per employee 22,614 pounds? Is it true or is it false? What do you think? Let's see. Okay. It is false. And for those of you who said it's false, what do you think is the right answer? Or what is your guessing? What do you think that the average cost of turnover per employee is per year? So the right answer is not this one, but this is false. So the right answer is 30,614 pounds per employee per year, right? Wow, exactly. It's wow. So when we talk to our clients, and numbers, then they end up, we actually raise awareness about how important is this syndrome, how important is employee burnout. And speaking of burnout, I want to talk briefly about what is it. And I want to share with you my most favorite definition. So employee burnout, also known as workplace burnout, happens when our physical, emotional, and mental resources are spent. So the World Health Organization only last year recognized this syndrome as an occupational kind of challenge. And they mentioned that it's a syndrome conceptualized as resulting from chronic workplace stress, which is not managed, right? So, and now I want to talk very briefly about my story, because why am I so passionate about employee burnout at first place? It is because myself, I used to work in the corporate world in the past. I used to work as a PR executive in a PR agency here in London, and that was my career dream. I used to work with some like-minded, super talented people. I got to serve some dream clients. For me, that was my dream career. I was really living my dream. But then deep inside me, I was feeling empty. But if you would ask me what was the reason, I couldn't quite put my finger on what was it. But I could tell that I always wanted to isolate myself from my colleagues, or I was feeling a little bit stressed at some point, or it was hard for me to unplug after a busy day at work. But that was it, right? Nothing really alarming. But then one day, while I was at work, I experienced a panic attack. So I fainted. And then when I opened my eyes, that was the most, challenging time in my life. And it was an experience that stayed with me for a very long time. But when I opened my eyes and I decided that it was time to reach out for help. I could see that I was desperate for help. I went to my therapist's office and he said to me, Alexandra, you suffer from burnout. And let me tell you that this was a shock for me because I always used to believe that people who love their jobs, they never experience burnout. So I was quite shocked. And he said to me that burnout was a result of imposter syndrome, digital addiction, and stress and anxiety that I didn't know how to manage for a long period of time. And, my question to you is, how many of your employees are they actually aware of the signs and the triggers that might lead them to experience burnout? And maybe there are so many employees within your business, as I used to be myself, who have no idea what the different phases of burnout are, or they cannot even tell if they are at a risk of burnout or not. So that is why it's just so important for me to give access to a list of tools and resources, and to help our employees to diagnose this syndrome early enough. It is really, really important. And when it comes to well-being strategy, prevention is the key. So I want to share with you our best practice number 1, which has to do with the diagnosis, with self-assessment. So self-assessment tools can help both employees and employers to identify the syndrome early enough. So, and what we discovered by working with many clients is that actually bottom-up self-assessment tools can help our employees to identify the syndrome much better than the bottom-up self-assessments. Much less than the bottom-up self-assessments, which are more motivating, way more motivating. So employers and managers, we believe that can greatly benefit from those self-assessment tools. And those tools can help them to reflect on their conduct, to discover, their own kind of stress triggers, to help them also to achieve their goals when it comes to well-being. So in Urban Yoga Lab, in Oxyzn, we decided to build 2 self-assessment checklists. The one is for employers who want to be able to say if their employees are at risk of a burnout or not. And the second one is for employers who might want to diagnose, early enough if there is such risk. So feel free to just take the picture of the self-assessment you would like to just quickly check. It's just checking some boxes, really. And if you are an employer or an account manager and you want to check whether your employees are at risk, you can choose the QR code number 2. If you are an employee and you want to make sure that you are on track when it comes to your well-being and mental health, then you can choose the option here, the QR code number 1. And then we are going to share with you at the end of this presentation the results. Okay, so feel free to check the boxes, that resonate, the answers that resonate with you. And at the end, we are going to check your score together. So as we go to the next slide, I'm going to let you do the self-assessment check as I'm going to walk you quickly through the signs, right? Which are the common signs of employee burnout for employees? For me personally, as a former PR executive, I could tell that I was completely neglecting my personal well-being needs. I was suffering from chronic headaches, fatigues. I was having this tendency of wanting to socially isolate from the rest of my team. You might notice here escapist activities if you suffer from burnout. But also you might experience feelings of emptiness and lack of motivation. And then, which are the common signs of employee burnout if you are an employer or an account manager? You might notice that your employees taking regular sick days to avoid stress. They tend to become socially isolated, procrastinate, taking longer to complete tasks. They might be feeling overwhelmed or having a negative, kind of cynical outlook. Um, so our best practice that we recommend to you is to use self-assessment checklist and share those with your account managers, with your employees, and make sure from time to time that they give themselves this kind of self-assessment so they can know early enough whether they might struggle or not, right? So that's how you can actually help your employees, but you can also help your account managers. Yes, of course, we can show the slide for self-assessment common signs again, of course. So we're going to share again the QR codes in case you want to quickly do the self-assessment and find out about your personal score or your employee score. So here is the QR codes. Let us know if you need a little bit more time, right? And at this point, I just want to mention that I think you all are going to agree with me that it is in the nature of our role as HRs to proactively support, nurture, and help our employees to look after themselves. And my question to you is, in your business, in your role, how do you support your employees to, manage burnout at workplace? What is the number one thing you do to help your employees who might experience burnout? I'm really curious to find out. If you can write in the comments, is there any specific tip, practice, strategy? Maybe it might be an interview with a mental health expert. Maybe it might be a blog post that you might, publish on your intranet, and whatever kind of suggestion or practice you have followed before to help your employees to manage burnout. Adebi said, yes, I agree. HR should help employees look after and take care of themselves. Yes, Hattie Clark, encouraging mindfulness and regular check-ins. Beautifully said, Hattie. Regular check-ins is the key. And this is why we recommend to our clients to do those kind of self-assessments as often as possible. Daniel said, I think the most important thing is removing the stigma of talking about this topic. This is fascinating stuff, guys. And I believe the stigma is the number one reason why employees feel hesitant to open themselves and to discuss, kind of openly and with full honesty about what they might be, they might struggle with. So this is so important. How do we break the stigma? Ali Mason said, leaders that start the conversation and share how they are showing they are human. How wonderfully said. In many cases, and this is where I'm going to move right now, is the question to ourselves as HRs. It would be a very good question would be, how do we make sure our senior leaders are our greatest well-being advocates within our business, to express themselves and openly indicate when a burnout is noticed? Yes, this is beautifully said. And that takes us to the next practice, which is raising awareness about burnout syndrome. So making our senior leaders our greatest advocates, our greatest ambassadors, right? So how we can do that? As I said to you before, 36% of employees said that their organizations is doing nothing to help with employee burnout. So honestly, if you do not do anything, You shouldn't feel shame about it. It's nothing unusual, right? So the question to myself and my question to you is, HRs normally want to help their people, to support their people, to look after themselves. But in many cases, the decision makers within the business, they do not offer the right budget. They do not give them the green light to do the right thing. So my question to you and my question to them normally is, how do we incentivize the senior leaders within our business to get a better understanding, visibility, clarity of what are the consequences of not taking care of our employees' well-being? So how do you inspire your leaders within your business? And it's really important to the number one thing that you can actually make them really engaged is by showing them the return of investment, by showing them the costs. How much does it cost if they do not take care of their employees' well-being? And this is our recommendation to you, is to use a burnout risk calculator. It can actually help you to measure the cost and give a good reason to your senior leaders within your business to take action. So it's also very important to show this return of investment and the costs of early burnout diagnosis, delayed burnout diagnosis, and the costs of burnout treatment when diagnosed too late. There are different costs in every single phase. And when we make our senior leaders aware of those costs, then they become more incentivized and committed to help the employees. So if you want to check the risk burnout calculator, it doesn't take much time. You just include 4 metrics. And it can give you a good indication of what's your score within your business, what's your risk of your employees having to experience burnout within your business. So it's a really, really powerful tool, and we highly recommend it. We suggest we share it with most of our clients. So take your time to just take a picture. And as I said before, these are just 4 metrics you need to include. It's based on an algorithm, and it gives you the approximate cost of the risk of burnout. Amazing, Abedi. Thank you so much for sharing. Harry said the reason factors for burnout of an employee is completely personal. How long an organization should to support? Interesting. Very, very intriguing question, to be honest, Harry. And I believe that based on that question, we start with basics. As an employer, do we plan everything we can to make sure our employees feel seen, heard, supported, cared, nurtured? Do we do our best to make sure that we provide solutions of wellness and well-being, self-growth and self-development, team bonding activities? All those aspects are aspects of employee well-being. So as an HR team, it's good to ask ourselves, do we actually do our best to help our employees to look after themselves the best possible way? And I'm going to share with you what do we recommend in terms of toolkits and a knowledge hub later on. But on a scale from 1 to 10, how much inspired, how much engaged your senior leaders are to become your well-being advocates and invest in employee well-being strategy? From 1 to 10, if you can write down in the comment section, that would be great. And this is an interesting question, right? Very interesting, yes. And it is not, in most of the cases, it is not because they don't want to, right? It is because they do not have the right motives. So this risk burnout calculator can give you all the power you need, so you can go and speak to them and show them why employee burnout really matters. And now I'm gonna go to the next practice for today, which I really want to share with you. It's one of my favorite, is to build a knowledge hub. And this replies to your question, Haris, the question you've asked earlier. Because sometimes employees might experience burnout because of their personal issues, right? As an employer, what can we do, and for how long can we support our employees to manage to overcome burnout? So it's important, first of all, to make sure that we have all the resources in place so our employees get access to the right information, to the right tools, hacks, best practices. So this is why I recommend to my clients to use tools, specific toolkits in a knowledge hub that they can be part of their intranet. And according to Gallup's research, employees who feel supported by their managers are 70% less likely to suffer from regular feelings of burnout. So it's so important to meet your employees where they are and to acknowledge that one size doesn't fit all. There's not a silver bullet, right? A quick fix. So if we go to the next slide, it's really a good idea to create a knowledge hub with special content that can help your people to navigate through their own mental health struggles, right? And their own well-being challenges. So for example, it's important, A, to have diverse content available. B, it's important to integrate this content and to be blended with the themed awareness days, weeks, and months of the year. So you can raise awareness about certain topics. So via Knowledge Hub, you can go through all the different 8 aspects of well-being by offering to your employees booklets and worksheets, by creating posters and like online posts on your intranet, so you can keep your employees informed and aware of how to take care of their mental health and well-being. So speaking of that, when it comes to your knowledge hub, your own knowledge hub, right? When you think about it, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And here I'm just sharing our own internal communication toolkit that we share with our clients. And I just share this with you to show you how high is on our priorities the awareness, right? To raise the awareness about mental health and well-being. So what we've done here for many of our clients is creating editable kind of internal comms toolkit where our employees can edit on the go, and they can share with our employees anytime, anywhere. So when it comes to your own knowledge hub or your own internal comms in relation to employee well-being, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about it? So if we can go, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about creating your own knowledge hub? If you have created already and you want to enhance it, what's the first thing that comes to mind? If you do not have a knowledge hub in your intranet and you want to create one, what's the first thing that comes to mind? And Morgan, if you can go to the previous slide for a second, because Haris wants to take a look. Is this the slide you would like to take a look at, Haris, or the previous one? Feel free to let me know in the comments. So I want to share with you that back then, during my own burnout experience, I wasn't aware about the tools, the resources, that they were available. But I had a mentor who recommended to go and visit some well-being and mindfulness centers around the world. And that's what I did. I embarked on that 2 years journey where I've learned so much. I visited Chiang Mai in Thailand, where I stayed a couple of months with some Buddhist monks, and I've learned the art of meditation. Spent some time in Cambodia, where I was part of some fascinating mindfulness retreats that changed the way I see the world. Um, I was part of a long sailing trip in New Zealand where I learned the art of minimalism and how, when this is integrated into our day-to-day lives, it can help us to be more aware of our well-being and our mental health. Um, and in Peru, I learned about the art of somatics and how, when we bring body and mind in balance, we feel more grounded. And why am I sharing all those things with you? Because during those trips, I've had access to so many tools that actually I was able to mix and match different tools that resonated with me to create my own well-being menu. Um, and because of those tools, I learned how to truly be a master of my challenging emotions. And this experience taught me something powerful. It taught me that I can actually be and feel and live a more empowered, uplifting, and fulfilling life. And because of this journey, because I got introduced to those tools, I was able to help myself. So, my question and my invitation to you is like, how do we make sure that our employees get access to those tools they need without the need to resign or go on a trip around the world? How do we ensure that they get the help they need exactly where they are? And this is why it's so important to create your own knowledge hub. Um, and now I want to talk about the last strategy for today, which is work with purpose. Did you know that actually, um, in recent research, we've seen that 97% of employees who experience workplace intangibles like purpose, openness, and resilience are more engaged at work. And then there is the Search for Purpose at Work report from McKinsey, which shows that one of the things that is really surprising is that 70% of people say they define their purpose through work. And actually, millennials, even more so, because they are likely to see their work as their life calling. So if 70% of our millennial employees see their career is as connected to their life calling, how do we actually help them to create a sense of purpose at workplace? How do we help them to work with purpose? So, and our team, what we do is actually offering different type of workshops and webinars. They invite employees to ask, to start with why, as Simon Sinek said. It's so important. So we do those type of workshops. We offer workshops where employees can get the sense of their purpose, and we create opportunities for growth and learning via webinars and workshops. Now, if there is one best practice I want to share with you to help your employees to get tapped into their own purpose, is to run an Ikigai workshop. How many of you have heard before about what is an Ikigai workshop, an Ikigai webinar? If you can write in the comments, have you ever heard what Ikigai means? Morgan, let's go to the previous slide. Yes. So nobody ever heard the word Ikigai. Okay. So this is finding your purpose. Beautiful. Yes. So Ikigai, it's a principle that comes from the Japanese culture. Again, I had the experience to be part of those immersive workshops in Japan. And this kind of workshops are really interesting because they help people who participate in those workshops to um, to investigate what truly motivates them at work. And those type of workshops help them to find the right direction within their career pathway, and to find interesting ways to investigate the calling at workplace a little bit further. So an Ikigai workshop, all you need is the right facilitator, and just one single workshop. And the participants are invited to reply to a number of questions, and then they have an open conversation. And it's really eye-opening experience. I'm telling you, because we've run those type of workshops with so many employees all over the world. And the last practice that I want to share with you for today is how to help your employees to unplug. Did you know that one of the main causes of employee burnout is the difficulty that employees have to unplug? And it's true. I remember that, since when I was a PR executive, I was coming back home and I was constantly plugging to my, social media and all my devices. And I was so much into work, like it was so hard for me to disconnect. So 61% of remote employees and 53% of on-site employees find it more difficult to unplug from work during off hours. Hyperproductivity and toxic productivity when working from home is the new reality. And let me tell you that this is not sustainable. Because when there is this kind of lack of structure during the day when we work from home, it's so easy for us to not set boundaries, right? So, as an employer, as an HR, how do you help your employees to actually take control and actively manage their time? Right? So, how do you help them to learn how to schedule in time for themselves, how to create some me time? Right? How do you help them to participate in wellness experiences that will be part of a nice daily routine? And how do you help them to appreciate early morning routine, or to appreciate the time they end after work, and they just need to switch off and just be into their own world and their hobbies and their relatives. So one of the things that we've seen that works really well with our clients is when they organize virtual mental health and virtual wellness sessions. And we have seen that when those are offered through the workplace, we have 45% participants who say that they would love to join it if this is offered through the workplace. 38% they will join a health eating class, 37% a virtual workout class, 32% a desktop yoga, 31% a webinar about mental health topics. Now, our suggestion to you is to organize those wellness sessions first thing in the morning, just before work, or right after work. And to do this like as a wellness Mondays and mindfulness Wednesdays. So you have 2 days every week that every specific Monday you organize those two different classes on morning and in the evening, and then same on Wednesday. And that's how you create a nice weekly routine where your employees know that if you organize this class early morning just before work, means that they are supposed to start working at 9 o'clock and not earlier. If you organize a Pilates class in the evening right after work, they gain a better understanding that they can actually switch off. After 5:30, 6 o'clock, they need to switch off, right? So important. So this is all I wanted to share with you. Thank you so much for your comments here. And I'm so happy to see that many of you already checked out the risk burnout calculator. So As I mentioned before, the driver of all those insights that I shared with you are part of our platform, a platform that was specifically created for HRs, for your needs, based on 3 years of constant feedback from hundreds of employees. And this platform is a done for you service, done for you meaning done for HR's type of service. It doesn't require any effort. It doesn't require any time or any sacrifice on your end. It saves you 20 hours per month and can be accessed by your employees in less than 3 seconds. But if you don't take my word for it, Morgan is going to share with you a 1 minute trailer just to see how it works and how do we collect and get access to all those insights. Just a minute and 30 seconds video. So if I can just bear with me, please. As Morgan is checking the link, I want to give you to share with you a special announcement. Next month, I'm going to organize another free HR webinar dedicated to female employees, right? Of course, it's my pleasure to share the presentation with all of you who will stay till the end. Anyway, in a few minutes, we'll be at the end of our webinar. So please share with us your email address and my team, like via direct message on Zoom, and my team will come back to you with the presentation and the recording of our today webinar. So now I feel like we're ready to watch the trailer of our Oxyzn platform. So you can take a look here. What is it all about?
Oxyzn, the one-stop shop for SMEs and startups to prioritize their employees' well-being. We use automation via a membership website to help your employees take care of their well-being in just 3 clicks. With Oxyzn, you get instant access to more than 30 live monthly well-being activities across 45 categories delivered by 80 top well-being experts. This is an end-to-end well-being program for every day of the year. Our platform is not just cost-effective, it's also time-saving. Its setup, activation, and delivery doesn't take less than 30 seconds and save your HRs over 20 hours per month. Our interactive calendar includes happy hours, a daily fitness schedule, well-being networking events. Enjoy team bonding activities like cooking, aromatherapy, and mixology. Mix and match your favorite well-being sessions to create your own bespoke well-being menu. So come and join us and let your body and mind to thank you for that later.
So thank you so much for watching. That was the trailer of our Oxyzn platform. In terms of the free HR webinar that I'm going to organize next month, we're going to include the link below. So if you want to participate in the webinar I'm going to run next month, which is all about hybrid working and women, and how women are at greater risk of burnout than men, and how can we actually support them. So I'm going to share with you our 7 steps formula on helping female professionals to radically take care of their well-being. Okay, so the second announcement I want to make is that we are launching our 8-week Zen Warrior program next month. And for those of you who join, you can register and get a 20% off by just using the code BURN2022. And feel free to email us at info@urbanyogalab.com with that code, right? So this is an 8-week transformational behavior change course on somatics, mental well-being, and mindfulness. And my purpose is to give access to all the tools I've learned through my trips to as many employees as I can. So it's an 8 weeks mindfulness program. So if you are interested in the Awake Your Zen Warrior program, feel free to let us know via email. And now the last thing I want to mention, if you would like, just for you that you stay till the end, if you would like to have a 20-minute free discovery call just with me to discuss about a specific challenge or to pick my brains on a hot topic when it comes to HR and employee well-being, please let me know. My mail address is going to be on the comments below. The link, my Calendly link, again, will be added in the comments from my team. So you can actually book a free discovery call directly there via this link. As I said before, it's a free 20-minute discovery call, and I would love to meet you in person and have an in-person one-to-one conversation about the topics, the today topics, but any other challenge you would like to discuss. So here is our email address, our phone number, our website link in case you want to find out more. For those of you who want to get access to our diversity and inclusion calendar, as I promised in the very beginning of the webinar, can you write the letter D in the comment section, and my team will share with you the diversity and inclusion calendar for free. It's a calendar we share with long-term clients exclusively, but I will be really happy to share this with you. It's all about the most important diversity and inclusion days of 2022. And based on those days, we create all our bespoke and special events. Amazing. And we're going to make sure that each one of you that included the letter D will receive our diversity and inclusion calendar. Now, as we are at the end, do you have any questions? And is there anything that you would like to share after, our we run a little bit later, but if there is anything that you would like to share or any questions you might have, please let me know. More than happy to help. I'm so glad to have many of you who want access to our diversity and inclusion calendar. It's a great calendar, actually. Amazing. Super. So I want to say again, big thanks to every single one of you who participated, who interacted during our today webinar. I had such a great time, and I really appreciate your time and your energy today. So I look forward to see you on our next free HR webinar on the 8th of August at 11 o'clock in the morning, again to discuss employee burnout and female professionals. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, everybody. And if any of you want access to the presentation, feel free to let us know your email address and we'll share this with you. More than happy. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you, Riyab. Thank you so much, Daniel. Have a beautiful weekend. And don't forget to take some time for you. How lovely. Let's keep this wish for everyone. I'm going to give this wish back to every single one of you. Let's not forget to take some time for us this weekend. Hi, Cheta. Thank you so much. Urspasi, thank you for the session. Have a great day ahead. You too. Chris Owak, thanks, Alex, for the insights. Thank you, Chris, for joining. And Katerina, thank you for joining. So it was so great to have you all here. Namin, it was really, really great to interact with you. And I look forward to see you next time. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everybody. Cheers. Bye. Beautiful. Thank you, Harry, so much. Daniel, so lovely to see you. Yes, take care. You too. Amazing. I'm just trying to make sure that my team captured everything. Morgan, are you there?
Yes, I am.
We still have some people on the virtual room. But is everything okay? That we save the emails of the participants who want the access to the presentation? Thank you, Joycel. You too. Take care. Yes, Morgan, feel free to let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay, amazing. Again, thank you all for staying here with me. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Cheers, everybody.